steigt, ob die Sonne und Nacht, ihr Fahrt fliehen heiß oder eiskalt die Nacht. Bestaubt sind die Gesichter, doch froh ist unser Ziel, Es braust unser Panzer im Sturmwind dahin. Bestaubt sind die Gesichter, doch froh ist unser Ziel, Es braust unser Panzer im Sturmwind dahin. Mit donnerndem Motor geschwind wie der Blitz, wir Feinde entgegen im Panzergeschütz.
This is a letter sent from my grandfather at the beginning of the Battle of the Bulge. Dear Mother and Art, this is to acknowledge the receiving of your letters dated November 7th, 11th, 3rd, 10th, and October 30th. I believe that one of the 30th included one from Art. At this moment, we are living in pup tents out in an open field. It is much the same as Max Mitchell mentioned to me in his letter. I saw a bombed-out town, and it was a sight for sore eyes. I really feel quite ignorant because of my folly of not understanding this lingo. We are fortunate, however, to have a couple of lads who are of French descent. There is a fellow from Cleveland who sleeps in the same tent as I do. His name is Harold Winkleman, and his wife lives upstairs of the Weinberger drugstore at Superior and East 123rd. He is about my age. If you recall the Freedman boys in my frat, call their mother because I would like to know where they are. Don't worry if mail is irregular because time is scarce and the postal system is very slow. I wrote this by the light of a flashlight. Regards to all, Lindy. The letter that was just read was the last letter my grandfather ever sent before he went into battle and was terribly wounded by 2 German soldiers. The next letter he sent was dated December 31st to tell his brother and his mother that he's okay and that he's in an army hospital. You'll now see a clip of the Battle of the Bulge.
During the Bulge, command broke down, supplies broke down, morale broke down, communications broke down, everything broke down. It was every man for himself. We were inadequately clothed. We didn't have rubber overshoes, we didn't have overcoats, we didn't have gloves, we didn't have scarves. My boots were so bad, I would strip newspapers and drapery off of these bombed out houses and wrap my feet in it. You were having trouble breathing because the snow was suffocating you. And consequently, we lost a lot of men who froze to death.
Leonard P. Schur was my grandfather, who died in February of 1997. He fought in the 75th Division in the Ardennes Forest in Belgium during the Battle of the Bulge, as you just saw in that clip. He was not featured in that clip, but it gives you some perspective of what he went through as a soldier. He was shot and badly wounded on the hill called La Lumiere in Haute-Soie, Belgium. He was wounded by 2 German soldiers, and he had bullets in his chest and near his bladder. My grandfather fought in the Ardennes forest in Wallonia, the southern region of Belgium, near Germany and France. He initially fought in Bastogne and moved towards Soie, Hotten, which is very nearby, and fought and was shot on the hill of La Lumiere in Soie, Belgium. This is a sign for Hotten, Belgium. My grandfather spent a bit of time before going to battle on the hill of La Lumiere. I visited this town and many other towns in the area in March of 2010 to see where my grandfather fought in the Battle of the Bulge in World War II. In this picture you can see the Haute-Soie road, which to many is of little to no significance, but is of great sentimental value to my family. When my father was traveling alone in Europe in 1970, he went to go find where his father fought, and didn't have a tour guide like we did in March of 2010, and so he walked along this road and asked a person in halting French, "Do you remember the Battle of the Bulge?" And he said yes, and he pointed him to the direction of the hill of La Lumiere in Soie, Belgium. This is a picture I took when I was with my family in March of 2010 in Belgium, seeing where my grandfather fought in World War II. This is a picture of the Haute-Soie road, and you can see it is a bit different than the other picture because this is in March, not in the summer. You can see how desolate this forest area is and what it must have been like to be in battle. When I saw this area for the first time, I really had a sense of what it was like for my grandfather to be in battle. Now, while we were in a nice, in a nice car being taken around to various places, I had a sense of what it must have been like for my grandfather, trudging up that hill with very numb feet in the cold and the snow. It was a very emotional moment for myself. This is a picture I took when I was in Erizé, seeing where my grandfather fought, and this is a sign that commemorates the honor and gratitude of the American soldiers who fought in the Battle of the Bulge, which was incredibly powerful to me to see that there are people there who appreciate what my grandfather did for their country and for our own. This is a picture that I took in March of 2010 when I visited where my grandfather fought in the Battle of the Bulge. This is the picture of the hill that I took where he fought, and for me it was the most powerful moments I've ever had in my life, understanding not just where my grandfather fought and how, but what it meant to me, my family, and the community that America is, that he fought for not just his family, but for America. It was an immensely powerful feeling, and I don't think I could ever replace that feeling again. And I understood what my grandfather had done for our country. He was so courageous, and he served and fought for America. This is a picture taken on a website that I got from a website of the Hill de la Lumiere. You can see it in summer. You can see how big and vast this hill is, and what the American army had to deal with the Germans, and how difficult this battle was. You can see I got a sense of how vast the area is in which many men were killed and wounded, like my grandfather Sure, who was wounded and was shot twice by 2 German soldiers. The last site I saw on my visit to the Battle of the Bulge locations in March of 2010 was this memorial near Bastogne, Belgium, to the men who served in the Battle of the Bulge. The names of every state are inscribed in the memorial on the pillars and on the top in the various divisions, including the 75th Infantry Division in which my grandfather fought. And it was an incredibly powerful moment for me, not because I could just see it right there, but because I finally had a concrete understanding of what my grandfather had done, and the stories that had been told and passed down for years and years had finally materialized to me in that moment. It was worth the journey to go see what my grandfather had done, not only for his country, but for his family.